I'm Alison Bernstein, and I'm a new assistant professor in the Department of Pharmacology and Toxicology in EOHSI at Rutgers. I came from Michigan State University, where I started my research program. And my research program focuses on Parkinson's disease and the role that something called epigenetics plays in Parkinson's disease, especially how that mediates the effect of environmental exposures on Parkinson's. So Parkinson's disease has a very strong environmental component, and that risk can be increased or decreased by various environmental exposures, and we don't really understand how those environmental exposures change someone's risk of getting Parkinson's. So that's what I'm working on, and looking at how this process called epigenetics mediates that effect. So epigenetics is like tags and signposts along DNA that help the cells know when and where to turn genes on and off. So we have our genetic sequence that many people are familiar with, but how does the cell know when and where to turn those genes on and off? And so epigenetics is sort of how that happens. And so we work on that. And I work in both human samples, looking at postmortem brain tissue, and we just had a paper published on that just last week, 2 weeks ago. So that's exciting. And then we also do some animal studies and some cell studies, so we can look more at like how things are actually working, like what protein interacts with what gene and how that happens in a cell. So right now, work in my lab focuses on how pesticides play a role in Parkinson's disease, because there's a pretty consistent epidemiological association between increased risk of Parkinson's after exposure to certain kinds of pesticides. So that's the space that I've been working in so far. But I have some grants just starting where we're actually looking at how epigenetics plays a role in exercise-induced neuroprotection in Parkinson's disease. So we also know from humans that people who exercise a lot have a lower risk of Parkinson's disease. So why is that? We don't really know. So we're also using the same tools and methods to look at this decreased risk of Parkinson's with exercise as an environmental exposure. And I'm also very interested in looking at emerging compounds, like compounds that we're currently concerned about, like the PFAS compounds. We don't really know about the neurotoxicity and if it is going to end up being important for Parkinson's disease. So in the future, I'd like to expand into other toxicants using the systems and the tools that I've established in my lab. For more information about my work, please visit the website eohsi.rutgers.edu.